Hello everybody and welcome to Vicky Pattison, The Secret To. This week I am joined by the record-breaking pop star, internet sensation and all-round supermom. It's none other than LadBabyMum, everybody! Woo!
We're just really grateful, weren't we?
We're grateful for being alive. What a day we've had.
What a time to be alive.
Not even 12.
I do feel like, and so then obviously off the back of Mark building this community and the attention, then you started up as well.
Yeah, he because of what he did, he went, come on, this is for you as well. And it was Mark, and then it became kind of the LadBaby family, really. And then I didn't really realise that I was just kind of enjoying what we was doing. And then people were like, oh, I like what she wears, and oh, she laughs loud, and she's positive, isn't she? And I was like, well, this is lovely, isn't it? Everyone's so bloody lovely. And I was just like, do you know what? I'm going to lean into this because,
why
you
not?
know, I had my baby.
Why the fuck not?
Well, I just thought I'm going to, I lost it. When you have kids and when I had the boys, I gave up I wanted to stay with them and make sure I took them to school and stuff. And Mark worked all the jobs on everything and did everything. So when they went to school, I was like, I'm going to lean into it. And I got a bit more confident and a bit more oh, I'm back, you know, because it changes you massively.
You realised got a bit of a sense of self back, I suppose.
Yeah, my self-esteem, confidence, even doing fashion, actually design. So I actually do all the designing, I create it with a team. And I when in the style said to me, do you want to make clothes? And I was like, well, I'd love to, but I was like, I don't know if I can. I'm not in fashion. I'm I'm not that way inclined, but I know that I love colour and colour makes me happy. And I don't wear fashion. I'm the worst influencer ever. I don't even, people are like, Rox, where's your outfit from? Tag the outfit. And I'm like, oh God, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just wearing it because I'm happy. I am the worst ever. And I'm told that on a daily, but I genuinely thought, step into this, go for it, because I don't know, that baby helped me through some of the hardest times of my life. Driving monster trucks isn't a usual thing on a Saturday, and doing all the crazy stuff he made me do. It made me more confident.
I love it. And you're saying oh, I'm not about fashion and this, that, and the other. But for me, especially now, I used to try and force my body into stuff that wasn't right when I was younger because everyone else was wearing it and I knew it was cool at the time. But now I'm in my 30s. To me, fashion is about expressing yourself. It's about wearing things that represent you well and make you happy and make you feel good. So if that's what your range is about, I think you're a lot better at fashion than you're letting yourself believe.
Thanks. Stop it. Do you know what? Growing up, I don't say this a lot, but I genuinely, growing up, I've been a size 12 and I've been a size 22, right? I've been all the sizes, and I've found happiness at every size. So it doesn't really affect how hard I laugh or how I see my life. But I remember growing up, there wasn't clothing for me. I had to go to Evans with my mum, and they would my mum would have to wear grey clothes or black clothes, and there was nothing colourful. If you were over a size 14, for me,
it almost suggested that you should hide away.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm not hiding. Nan, can you make me a purple jumpsuit? She was like, what? Yeah, all right, love, if you want. And I would genuinely be like, no. And I'd just buy whatever colour made me happy, and usually in men's sizes. So when I did it, I was like, we have to do size 4 to 30. I do believe that everything on the shelf in general should be available in other sizes. And it makes me happy to wear getting up and getting dressed and just wearing what you want and not feeling like you have to be someone who, I've got the coolest bag and I've got the coolest shoes. Well, I don't. Sometimes I'll go to the supermarket and I buy myself a handbag and I have to pick myself up a pair of Tesco's knickers. Do you know what I mean? That's just my life.
Yeah, but then what you're talking about, or being super inclusive and pushing those boundaries and demanding representation, it's really refreshing. It's a proper breath of fresh air, babe. I have this memory and it's ingrained in me. And I was super chubby when I was at school. And I think girls' bodies change so much, like so much more than boys. And like
From day to day as well.
God, don't last. Honestly, from like different stages in the month, like I can change a clothes size easy. But yeah, I remember like, and it was when I probably hit puberty so much before everyone else. And like before you get like brilliant curves and everything goes where it should, you get this real puppy fat stage, don't you? At least I did. And I remember my mum leaving, taking us clothes shopping for like my school uniform that little bit too late. And there was nothing to fit us.
Yeah.
And I ended up, and I must have only been about 10 or 11, but I was aware from that point I was different.
But that's not your fault. That's because the market didn't go, oh, hold on, you're national average. I'm national average and I'm proud of that. I'm not ashamed to be a national average kind of girl. I have been out before and been kind of the brightest one in the room, and everyone's wearing beige. And do you know what? Good luck to them. They look wonderful. But also, I know so many wonderful humans who are like the most amazing people and wear the most amazing, crazy, awesome combos. And I'm like, where'd you get this stuff? Like, it's hard when you're told you've got puppy fat and things like that. Because genuinely, like, I'm like you. I just remember being different to my friends, but no one ever making me feel bad about that. I wasn't kind of bullied for being like overweight. It was like, be confident then. You had to almost be more of a person.
Oh, yeah, almost just own it.
Yeah. But in reality, you were kind of it's a hard thing to do, to always be different and fight against it.
And wear it so well. Like, it's one thing, like, I often have to remind myself to take my own fucking advice, mate. Because, you know, I'm always on Insta saying, like, love the skin you're in and embrace it and don't be afraid of getting older. And every so often I wake up and I think, oh, I don't love what I'm saying, or this or that. So I have to remind myself to take my own advice some days. And it is an uphill battle.
But that's just human. You're just human.
It's an uphill battle for women, isn't it? We're constantly being told to look a certain way and be a certain way. So I suppose what I'm trying to say, Fox, is congratulations for just being you, and in turn allowing and encouraging women to be proud of who they are as well.
Well, I didn't realise I was doing that, so thanks for saying that. I just genuinely I genuinely would advise anyone, if someone tells you can't do it, bloody do it and go in harder. Because usually, like, on all the videos, like the challenges and things like that I do, I mean, I shouldn't be doing the splits against the wall, if I'm honest. It's debatable whether I pop a hip, but I do it. And you know what? You got inspiration comes from a range of people, not just cool kids.
I watched that today, mate. That's why I'm laughing, because I was like, obviously on me research, and I was like, is she going to go? Is she going to fall? Like,
is she going to die? My greatest achievement is popping a balloon, doing the splits against the wall with my bum. So there you go.
I'm not surprised, lass. If I had it in my locker, it would be my biggest achievement as well. Fuck the jungle. Go on, Beth.
Oh no, it's all. I know what you're saying. It's just you've got to. It's really hard sometimes to see through it, and just I suppose I just have a bit of tunnel vision. Really, I don't allow other people's opinions of me or to affect me. That's their opinion, and I do wish people well, really, and go, good for you. I hope you get over anything that has happened in your life. But just because they feel like I'm not a certain way to look at, it doesn't mean it's true.
I read somewhere that other people's opinions have very little to do with us.
Yeah, they do.
It's really,
about them.
Yeah, it's really liberating once you realize it. Like, other people, how they treat you, how they react to you. It's all about that person, like their traumas, how they've been brought up, what kind of day they're having, like unhappinesses in their life, and it's nothing to do with you. But it's difficult to wrap your head around that, because I'm really sensitive and I have a tendency to take everything personally. But once you let go of that, it's such a weight off your shoulders.
Do you know what I do?
Yeah.
If you were at work, like say you were at work, you worked at wherever you work, like I don't know, you were at a water cooler, and someone come up to you and went, "You're a fat pig. You shouldn't be wearing that pair of trousers." Can you imagine that in your face? No. Right? So don't take it online.
No, oh
Don't
God.
take it online, because
Nah.
in reality, I mean, I don't pay attention to trolls. Actually, I have quite a high level of. We have a high policy of we don't. There's no trolling on our thing.
So it's just completely ignored. If they come with any sort of
I
negativity,
don't give them a
blocked and deleted.
platform.
Yeah,
Yeah,
good.
and people might comment on that, but I don't give them a platform. It's my space that me and Mark created. We're a positive place for people to come and have a break and a laugh, right?
Yeah.
So I don't tolerate that. But it's very hard when the media do it, like this Christmas, for instance, like when the media put out lies or the media say stuff about you and you think, well, that's not true, but I can't even stick up for myself, because once it's printed, it's like not real.
Yeah.
But people believe it. And when people say stuff, they believe it. But I just don't believe trolls, because I think sometimes, but it's very hard. I know people, it's hard to block.
Yeah.
Because you feel it. There's 1,000 great comments and one, and then you're hooked on one and you're like, oh, and it's not true though.
No, I know it's not. And like, it doesn't matter if you're an influencer, if you're a mummy blogger, if you're like a huge celeb, or you're just trying to get like a local business off the ground. Like, people for some reason, and I'm making a sweeping generalization, because there's so many amazing people online, as you know,
There are.
as I know, but for some reason there are some people out there who just do not like to see people shine. And again, it says more about them than it does about us. And I think you're taking the right approach, lass. That was one of my resolutions for 2022, because I have a tendency to fucking bite back on the old me. One of the old hang-ups from
No, you're sticking up for yourself, and I get that. Every kind of reaction to something is you're sticking up for yourself, and you have a right to. But it's very hard to hold your tongue and not go, well, they may be right, they may be, but to not respond. I think I read that silence is so much more powerful than even, and I don't mean in a mental sense. I mean as in, people get very angry when you don't respond to them.
And when you do, pop that answers on your story, or fire back, or start a like negative dialogue with them, that is exactly what they wanted. It is exactly what they wanted.
I do feel like people, I do worry about people like that, in the sense of I worry how hard a life they've had, and that's how I kind of cope with it. Like, oh gosh, they must be going through something, and that's how I think about that, because that's how I cope with it. And many people have different strategies, but I think that's the best way to do that. Just wish them well. On see you later, John. That's what I do.
No, and I think you're right. Like, you're a positive person, you're really happy, you're doing great, you're doing wonderful things for other people. Don't let that negativity in. Keep being you, Rox.
No. Do you know what? Some people say, you can't be this happy all the time. You can't. I'm like, no, don't go around that. Like, you've seen 7 minutes of my week, man. It's cool. I mean,
but like, come on, laugh, you're doing something right. If that's the nastiest thing that can say to you.
Do you know what? It's no responding. I just don't tolerate it. I'm like, see you later. I'm like a school teacher. Get out of my class, mate. I ain't having no trolls in this little area. See ya.
But like, have you always, because you've talked about being young and being like not aware that you were different, just still flying the flag for like your body shape, your size. Have you always been this positive, or has there ever been a moment where like actually everything just got too much for you?
I mean, I have always been half glass girl. I'm like half glass. I mean, where's the party at? Where's the fun at? I genuinely will search out happiness, because that is like what I feed from. I don't really like
happiness pigeon.
I like just flock where there's greatness. I don't really like bad energy and negativity, and I have got rid of a lot of bad energy in my life, and I think that's done me well. I have to do what's right for me. I think there are times that, I mean, when I had my children, in my 20s even, I saw your post about your 20s. I was like, mate, party 20s. I used to go festivals and like live the dream. But you're right. Now I'm like, oh, I'm in 20s. Like, they're great, but I haven't got the stamina. No. I mean, just doing a challenge does me in for a week, So I think I haven't I am positive, and I am, like, I would say 70-80%. I am constantly that.
Yeah.
I give energy to everything because that's just the way I like to live. It makes me happy. Music makes me happy. Dancing makes me happy. But I'm not going to lie. There are times where, you know, Mark has got me through some of the hardest things in my life. You know, giving birth, like even just when we had nothing, like me and Mark really struggled. Like I remember we lived in one room together, and our wardrobe was under the mattress, and all our clothes were under there, and you could reach the fridge from the bed. I'm not even joking.
On the plus side, mate, that is good for like late night snacks.
Oh my God, biscuits and everything. It was banging. But it was the happiest time of our lives. Yeah. So I'm saying, like, there have been times where I'm like, should we give up? Should we not do what we're doing? Let's keep going. And yeah, no, not everything is positive, but I think even if you fake it until you feel it, is for me, through those little hard bits, is how I cope with that.
Yeah, no, and I think it just makes sense, babe. Like, life is light and shade, and nobody, no matter how charmed of an existence you've got, how much money, how great a family, how amazing, you have to have those dark moments, those moments of difficulty and hardship. None of us can escape them at all.
I don't fight them now, though. I go through them. I cry through them. I go up them. I go down them, and then it's the same with the happiness. I'm sort of very present in it, and like, like, this is a euphoric moment in my life. I'll never have that back. You know, I always think you never get a day back, and that I think that's probably age. I'm getting old.
I say, lass, it's getting older, and
I'm so nearly old. I'm 38. I'm nearly 40, man.
Oh God, oh yeah. So I thought you were my age, but I suppose, like, when you're in your 30s, I just think it is our age, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I'll take that. Yeah. So I'm in my 30s. I think because I do child things, I do like very, you know, childish things that people think I'm well young.
It's a mindset, babe. That's what it is. Just lean into it.
Yeah.
I think what's lovely is, like, I'm the same. Like, I used to race through life a million miles an hour, and nothing was ever good enough. Like, even if I'd done something incredible, like, you know, sorry about that.
Mate, she raced through that. Go on, girl.
I lost my headphones. No, like, even when I've done something really good, like won the jungle or got this big show or signed a contract that I've been wanting, but something like that, even if I'd done something like that, right? Like, I was always just looking for the next thing. And it was like, I couldn't enjoy anything. I was going so fast. And like you say, as I've got older, I've learned to be able to take that step back and go and feel what I'm going through, whether that be happiness, excitement, great stuff, whether it actually be the harder bits, because you can't compartmentalize. You have to deal with it.
Yeah, and I do think, like, coming from like my family, like working class, like, you feel like when you achieve something, like, it's going to end. Like, you always feel like it's going to end, and you're going to lose it all, and it's never going to get any better than it currently is. And I think as a girl as well, you're sort of conditioned from a young age that you've got to keep striving, keep powering, be a powerful woman. Woo! Like, and
smash that glass ceiling.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, like, it's incredible, but that's hard work in itself to always try and elevate and be like better, and that's for anyone in life, like, always elevating and never actually celebrating every milestone. I feel like you don't do that young. I wasn't taught that. I weren't taught to appreciate those things. Just gotta do better, girl, you know, like. And I was like, okay, yeah, cool. And I didn't even really have pushy parents. It was just, that was just kind of back in the 90s, man. That was just what happened.
Just constantly but then it's hustling, isn't it? And growing and constantly pushing yourself to be better. Yeah. And I think there's a lot to be said for that. And everything you've achieved is amazing, but I love that you're finally at a place, mate, where you are allowing yourself to sit back and take stock and be proud of what you're achieving, because look at that woman you used to be, you know? Like, look at the struggles you've gone through and the situations you're in, and fucking look at yourself now.
Yeah, you do. I do, in a weird way, need to be reminded sometimes that you're just where you've come from and where you're going. And I don't know where I'm going to end up, but I'm really bloody grateful for just, I know it's cheesy, isn't it? But I am, because when you've come from somewhere and pushed on, I mean, I am severely dyslexic, I'm a size 16, pushing on over, got 2 kids that, I mean, I've had 3 hours sleep. My little son was up last night all night. Like, I feel like every day there's a bit of a challenge going down, but you sometimes have to always go, what was good today?
Yeah.
What was good today? What is great this week? Like, what is great this year? And kind of remind yourself. It's all about reminding, I think, because
And I put a post up not that long ago, mate, and it resonated with a lot of people. Like, I got a lot of women our age coming to me saying, "You're right," and it was like, would yourself 5 years ago be proud of who you are now?
Yeah.
And the fact is, like, myself 5 years ago was in like horrible relationships, had no self-worth, like was just doing jobs for money rather than things I was passionate about, like was so conflicted about who I wanted to be, knew I didn't want to be the person I was, but didn't know how to elevate. And then I look at myself now and I'm not perfect. Like, I still make mistakes, I still got grazed knees, like I'm still learning, I still want to be so much better, but I am proud of who I am and who I'm
becoming. And that got you here. How amazing that was your learning, that you went through that stuff. And do you know what's the most amazing thing about what you just said? That you recognized that you wasn't in your doing that, and you wasn't doing the right thing, you wasn't sure, and you was trying to do this and that. Like, just recognizing that wasn't right for you is like, whoa. I remember, like, 2 days ago I got told mine and Mark's book was the best-selling children's picture book of last year, and I cried nearly for 2 days because genuinely, I was like, Mark's like, why are you still crying? Are you okay? I was like, I'm so dyslexic, and like, I'm so dyslexic. And people used to say to me, you're not going to get, you just won't, just don't put your mind to it, think about this and that, and you'll achieve something in it, and everyone used to say, no, you can't do that, you can't. And I always be like, but why? I never understood, and I think they just thought I was thick, but it's not. I was just like, but why just because you're telling me I can't, I can. And then when we got told that, I was like, holy God, like, that's not the Sunday Times best #1 seller for a picture book is just not a thing.
No.
And I was just like, whoa. Like, for me, that was a big achievement, because I was like, I was told I was stupid, and that I know I'm not. No. And that was very destructive to someone that young at secondary school. Do you know what I mean? It's not what people should go through. But to be honest, I also wish them well, because it got me here.
Well,
so I'm
like, it's lucky that you are so resilient, and you did have that real confidence in yourself that you were able, and you did meet someone like Mark who's supportive and kind and believed in your vision, and look how you've ended up. But it could have been very different. We need to completely think about the way we talk to people and stop limiting children, like, capable of absolutely anything. And you have proven that. Dyslexic, whatever, mate, you are a times #1 best-selling author, and not easy to do, lass. So congratulations. And I think I would have cried for 2 days as well.
I did cry. But then when my kid was like, Mummy, you all right? I was like, yeah, he was like, okay, enough, Mum. All right, that's enough now. So, sorry, dear.
Mate, it's been such a pleasure talking to you in part 1. I have loads more still to ask you in part 2. Will you come back and chat more?
Oh my God, absolutely.
Yes, you will.
Having a great day.
Hello everybody, and welcome back to part 2 of Vicky Pattison, The Secret 2. This week I am joined by fucking internet sensation and downright phenomenon. It is LadBabyMum. But like, I'm just calling you Rocks. Is that all right?
Oh yeah, call me Rocks. But again, I can't handle that lovely intro.
You're so modest. I can't cope with you. Just embrace it, mate.
It's annoying, isn't it?
No, I love it. It's really endearing. It's really lush. Right, I want to play a little quick game of true or false for you.
Oh,
are you ready for this?
Yeah, I'm well up for this. I love games like this.
Okay, ready? Your fella, right? Is it true or false? Your fella is 6'8".
True?
Fuck off. I thought that was definitely false.
6'8", size 15 feet, and everyone.
Oh, no wonder you're positive, lass.
Stop. Everyone thinks I'm like short in videos, but it's actually Mark's 6'8". I'm national average. I'm 5'6".
5'6". I tell everyone I'm 5'6". I'm not. I'm 5'5". I think I'm shrinking a little bit, but so I can get, that is so he's a lot taller than you.
Yeah, he has to duck and door frames. You know, the usual showers to shower his like, unless they're like up there.
He hasn't had a wet head since the 80s.
Okay, next.
Well, I really thought that was a false, so I'm really surprised.
True.
Learn something new every day, Pet.
Yeah.
Right, next one. You guys have a Greg's black card. True or false?
Well, it's sort of true. We have Ed Sheeran's Greg's black card.
Is it a loaner or was it a gift?
Ed Sheeran gave it to Mark for a Christmas present.
So it's a gift. So it's a gift. It's yours now.
Well, yeah, it's downstairs. Basically, Ed Sheeran. Mark has never been given. Greg's do a black card, which is unlimited Greg's every year, and they give them out to people, and they've never given Mark one. And
was he gutted? Was he really upset?
He's just like, "What have I done? What's wrong with me?
Like, what more can I do?"
They're 80, put their £1 saying you'll be fine. Don't worry about it. And then Ed came. We were filming with Ed at Christmas, and he went, "I've just got to give this to you, Mark. I don't want you to be upset. Here we go." And he went, "Merry Christmas." And he was like, "You have my Greg's black card. I don't want it. It's yours. You deserve it more than me. You do more for sausage rolls than the nation." It was the best thing. Mark was like,
Mark cried for 2 days over that.
it's like a metal black card with Ed Sheeran engraved in it.
So, all right, has Mark ever, because honestly, has Mark ever gone to use it and people been like, "You're not fucking Ed Sheeran, mate"?
Well, this is the thing, right? So Mark posted the video of Ed, and Greg's messaged him and said, "That's not your Greg's card." It's not actually a black card. They don't actually exist. They do. That basically, if he went on tour, they'd give him one. Mark's like, "I'm not an actual real musician." So Mark's now considering doing a sausage roll tour just so he can have a great.
I've never heard more motivation that I can get behind more than the pursuit of a Greg's black card. Like one year they sent me something in the post and it was like a big Greg's hand pack. I was like, I'm from the north, mate, home of Greg's, like northeast, like it's
Greg's
like,
is life. Yeah.
110%. The first one opened was like on my high street ever. Like
amazing.
Cut me open and I bleed like cheese and onion pasty. Like I swear I'm a big fan. So like obviously when I found out they were doing these Greg's cards, I was like, like how do I get myself one of these? And I got sent a big hamper one year and it had a Greg's card in it. And I was like, oh my God.
This is it.
Yeah, I thought I've made it, you know.
You're at your peak.
Yeah, fuck you, Ed Sheeran. Like, I've made it. So I'm going in, like, walloping, like, you know, cheese pasties, sausage rolls, like, tuna sandwiches on the Greg's card, like, even getting some of them yum-yums and donuts, and just feeling like William Large Penis, right? And I even was, like, lending it to Erkan, and Erkan was, like, feeling like the big dick as well. And then one day, Erkan just rang us, and he's like, Vic, I'm like, yeah. He's like, you know your Greg's card? I was like, yeah. He's like, it's not Greg's card. It's a gift card. They just put some money on it for you. You it up.
You don't know. It's quality.
So he'd been standing there, like, you know, Billy Big Dick in the middle of Greg's, thinking, just getting a free pasty on my bird's card. And he just got the knockback from Greg's. Had to go and top up his card. So upset with us. I was so upset.
£100 gift card go far, Greg, you know.
Oh, I think it was 50 quid actually, but we made it last, mate.
Wow.
We made it last. I'm not, honestly. So yeah, so I'm in desperate pursuit of that. So maybe I'll go on to this podcast.
Yeah. We do have an Ed Sheeran black card, yeah. We do have one.
May as well just frame it if you're not going to get past it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it is.
We've done it.
Already done.
Next one. Also, we've got 2 trues there. I like that. Okay. Next one. You've raised over £1 million for charity.
Yes. over. Yeah, I think it's 1.2 before Christmas. I reckon it's probably now about 1.4, 1.5 maybe, but until you find out the figures, because streaming and things, it's definitely 1.2 million, yeah, for the food banks in the UK.
That's absolutely incredible. And you do a lot of work for food banks and stuff, but also the Trussell Trust.
Yeah, so Mark and I, when we set up social media, we were all like, we always want to give back. Like, we remember when I used to have a budget of like 20 quid a week, and I used to have to get nappies, and we wouldn't eat sometimes and things, and our family luckily were able to support us. But my mum used to she volunteered at a food bank and said, why don't you give the money to the songs to the food bank? I was like, yeah, great idea. So we've always given 100% profits to the food bank. And even like when we bought out crisps and everything we do now, even the book, we supported kind of, not food banks, we supported the literacy trust for children. I always believe in giving back. I never forget where I came from. I feel that there's a lot of people online that are just not doing that.
Yeah,
and actually it's really important to give back to your community. It's really important to, I find like giving and kindness, like it just goes further, I think. And I've had nurses and doctors, I've had people around the world say to me, I've been living on food banks, thank you for that. And and it's not even about that, actually. I don't do it for that. I feel like you should really support people that need to get somewhere. And that's why we do what we do.
You're so lovely. I could just cry.
Oh, don't cry. You make me cry.
No, I really love you. My life coach always says, Bill, who was ringing us now, bless him. He always says, like, if you have a platform and if you are lucky enough to be able to like reach a lot of people or do something worthwhile, like, you have to pay it forward. You have to pay your blessings forward. And like, I always endeavor like to, I'm constantly getting signed up for things. Like, I lost a fucking toe doing a charity trek about 5 years ago, mate. It's only just grown back. Turns out I'm like a starfish. I like regenerate. Yeah, but I pulled the top off once, like the top of my toe, and there was just this other little tiny toe growing underneath it, kind of like a Russian nesting doll. Yeah.
What?
I know. Honestly, I'm a medical marvel, mate.
Wonderful.
But yeah, I'm always getting signed up for these mad things. But like, I just think, what's the point in being fortunate or having this luck that's come your way, or working hard and making it happen for yourself, if you're not going to do anything for anyone else either?
Well, I do, like, so even like brand deals and things like that, like if you ever work for people, I turn down a lot of things, and but brands and things that want to work, like, for instance, like if food brands come to me or something, I'll go, I'll work with you, but you've got to donate 20,000 to this, or 20,000 like washing machine tabs to this, or Weetabix, donate 20,000 breakfasts to kids, and I'll work with you. I feel like I have more of a responsibility to ask corporations and people. I'm up for working with companies that go, yeah, I want to do some good in my community, because that's the right thing to do, I think.
That's who you are. Like, honestly, last night, I did a couple of years ago when the pandemic was bobbling out and it was raging, when it was like just started, and we got told like the army was going to come and like hose all down in tanks if we were out on the street for more than an hour. Do you remember all that? And we were getting all those horrible images of old people looking at like empty, ransacked shelves, and it was heartbreaking. So I started this isolation care package project where, like, every week me and my friends would get together in this warehouse and put together packages for like vulnerable and old people in certain communities.
Amazing.
And it became the barometer for how I viewed brands, whether which ones wanted to take part or not. Yeah. And it left a horrible taste in my mouth about certain brands who wouldn't get involved. Yeah. And they've all got their excuses, and some of them might have been very valid, and they might have been supporting other things. But you're telling me, like, it got to me. It really got to us. And so now, like, I buy Hovis bread religiously because they were on board every week, 800 loaves, never let us down. Tyrrell's crisps, they sent me so many when I reached out initially that we were still using their crisps 3 months down the line. Yeah. Like, these big brands that just got behind my little charity, like, it just made so much difference.
You can't just have the communities doing stuff. There's kids that message me and Mark saying, I saved up my pocket money and I went to the supermarket and I bought some advent calendars for children so that they got, the Trussell Trust works really inspired me and my family. And I'm like, that's incredible, but you can't have corporations we've
not
got
doing
the
anything,
families
yeah.
doing stuff and then not have this. So for me, I think it is really crucial to just, even if you can't give, you can give time, you can give thought, you can give kindness, you can give. Most of the great things in life are actually free. Yeah. Ain't that the truest song there ever is? And that is true. That is like the truest thing. Some people are just lonely or need food or just haven't got any ambition or genuinely are having a really awful time, and they just need someone else to go, I'm here. And that 9 times out of 10 is the reality of most people's day.
I think you have to again understand, like, by doing what you're doing, like you're encouraging other people to shine as well, and it is just really nice. So another just well done you, I suppose. I'm falling in love with you more as this podcast goes on.
Oh, don't.
Right there. Next one, true or false?
Oh.
Next on your wish list for your big Christmas collabs is none other than Stormzy.
Oh my God.
Own it. The big dog.
Own it. Because the body's on fire. Do you know what? Stormzy's coming to Nottingham soon, and I'm literally like, I'm going to be out there like, woohoo, Stormzy. Yeah, I love him, and he's gone off social.
Just chuck sausage rolls at a man. He'll sharp get the end of the stick.
I love him. I love everything about that boy. But he's gone off social media, I know. But yeah. Oh, honestly, I'd be terrible at trying to do the glorious job that he does. But yeah, that is him or Adele.
Oh yeah, aim high, lass. I can see you with either of them. Adele's so normal, isn't she?
Yeah, I mean, I have never encountered Adele.
No,
to be
me
fair.
neither. This is just my idea of her in like my head that I've created. Like, I just feel like she's really, obviously with all of her money and all of her Grammys and all of her fame and all the rest of it, I still just feel like she's super normal. Like, I heard this story once, and it was, she got asked to sing at Kate Middleton and Prince William's wedding. Yeah. And she just was like, no, what day is it? And they told her the day, and she went, I've got a friend's barbecue that day, I just can't come. And I've held on to that ever since, because that's the image of Adele in my head I want to have. That's who she is.
Most of the big stars are like, when I met Elton, so I met Elton at Christmas, and he was just like, hello Roxanne, how are you? Like, he's the most glorious man. And he was like, oh yeah, I'll have a sausage roll. And he ate the whole thing. Oh, did you make that? I was like, no, it's from Greg's. And he was like, whoa, wonderful. That was wonderful. I had one for 10 years, he went.
That's what he said. All that money, and he couldn't get himself a sausage roll.
Well, I don't know. He's 75, isn't he?
Getting on now.
He's an older man, yeah.
I had this vision of him smelling really nice.
Oh, yeah.
Does he smell really nice?
All the wonderfulness of, like them posh shops, like Selfridges, smells like that.
Just smells like money.
No, it smells like fancy cologne.
Right.
He's not on a Hugo Boss on a daily.
A little Paco Rabanne number.
Oh my God, Paco Rabanne. Yes.
I used to love it back in the day. I reckon if anything, Elton's going to be an Old Spice fella.
Oh yeah, he's not a Versace jeans kind of guy.
Nah, blue jeans
from the tin.
I want right. Okay, next one, last one. True or false? You've so far all truths. I had no idea it was going to work out this way. Last one. I heard a rumor that you don't even really like sausage rolls.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh my God! Do you know what? I love them, but I look at them and then I literally look like one. So I have to limit my intake, because genuinely I will end up being a sausage roll for life. Mark has them on a weekly. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, oh no, I do like them. Yeah. There's some that I don't like. You have to get the ratio of meat to pastry.
Yeah. It's a fine art, is producing a good sausage roll.
I don't have them as much as Mark. I won't lie.
I'm not surprised though. He's got like 6'8" of human to fill. Like, he can have a lot of sausage rolls.
I'm a cake girl, straight up cake. Yeah.
Oh, I've got such a sweet tooth. I like a donut. I like them iced fingers that they've got like the whipped cream in the centre of and the pink on the top.
Do you know the most devastating day of my life was when they stopped doing Tottenham cake? Do you remember the sponge cake with the pink? What? Where's that gone? COVID, mate.
Was it did COVID take that from her?
I said to a woman, where's the Tottenham cake gone? She went, COVID.
No, people have
I was
got. I'm sorry. People have got too used to using that as an excuse.
like,
That's
what is
not
that?
relevant there.
I was like, what? Why is the pink sponge with the icing gone? Because of colour? Like, is that a thing? I think she's just telling me to lay off the cake, to be fair, but I weren't having none of it. I was like, you let me know when it's back in, all right?
I feel like, I'm sorry, I'll blame COVID for a lot of stuff, but she's taking the piss there on the
A
Tottenham cake.
cake. I was like,
Nah.
what?
Mate, you have joined the infamous ranks of, well, thank you very much for playing the game, first of all, but secondly, you have joined the infamous ranks of two of the biggest and most notorious British bands of all time, the Beatles and the Spice Girls. You've got 4 consecutive Christmas number ones, Rox.
know.
Like,
What's weird?
there's got to be a moment where you look at yourself and just pinch yourself and be like,
What happened?
Yeah, this is my life, mate. Like,
Yeah.
what's been the biggest moment for you where you've just thought, shit, I've made it? Or like the most surreal situation you've ever been in? I can imagine being with like Elton John and Ed Sheeran and loads of stuff.
Yeah,
pretty up there.
writing a song. So writing the song. So me and Mark write all the songs. We do everything. We manage it all. We basically said to Ed and Elton that this is what we want to do, and then they were like, "Yeah, sure." But we had
so
to go.
amiable. I love that.
Oh no, they're wonderful. But we had to go meet Ed Sheeran, and I was like, "What do you wear to meet Ed Sheeran?" Mark's like, "Just chill, just be you." I was like, like mental down. And we met him in this hotel. And do you know what? Like, it was like the pre-match build-up of meeting Ed Sheeran was pretty epic, and Elton John. But when he walked in, he was like, "You're right, Rox," and just hugged me. And I was like, "Oh, all right, yeah, okay, cool." And then he just was like, "Right, yeah." And I said, "Oh, you know, these are the words that Mark was like, these are the words, Ed Sheeran." And he was like,
no.
yeah, but the best bit was when he turned to Mark and went, so Mark, should we sing along together? Now Mark is like, he says to me, "Ross, I can't sing, don't leave me hanging," right? So Sheeran's going to him, "Come on, we'll sing together." And he's like, yeah, sure. So he starts going, you know, he starts singing the song, and he's like, I'm in the room with Ed Sheeran, like it's like a little concert, really. And then when I panic, I just sort of go mute, and I just started doing this. Just and I looked at me like, are you okay? And I was like, I'm freaked out. And then Mark went, "Ed, I've got a voice for the football terrace. So it's only a football chant voice like this." And it's like, "Come on, sing along." And they started singing together, and it was just like the most surreal, like, oh, okay, maybe this is a thing now. Okay, yeah. That was probably the moment that I thought, this isn't normal.
Was it beautiful though? Like, did you actually just think like, shit, we're making so much money for charity here, and I'm working with two of the biggest legends in the biz. Like, after everything everyone said I wasn't capable of, look at me now.
Yeah, and do you know what? Everyone goes, "Oh, they just jumped on it for this and that." They actually didn't. Like, no one knows what those guys gave, for one, whether they wanted to remain, you know, no one knows what they donated personally. And the guys were amazing. They were well on board, and like, what can we do? How can we help? How can we pay for this and do this? And you know, that's really decent. They've got amazing careers, and they're singing about sausage roll. Like, people have to realize, like, I get it, the credibility for them could have been terrible, but it didn't, and it was amazing, and it raised so much more for even the awareness of the charity just went out of this world. So yeah, to prove people wrong, especially in the music industry, in every industry that we face, that I didn't think I'd ever be in these industries, to be honest. Social media gets a lot of stick for, like, you know, oh, we're not skilled, we're not talented, we're not this and that. And actually, it's really lovely to do it with my best mate, Mark, and for me and him to just power on and create stuff that makes us happy and makes people happy and actually fuels a lot of the charities of the UK is glorious, actually. I silently sit here and think, oh, yeah, I've overcome that.
Listening to you talk, like, I find you so inspirational. And there's so many times in my life, Rox, as well, where nobody's nobody's thought I could do it either. You know, like the transition from Geordie Shore to mainstream TV, everyone told us I was barking up the wrong tree. Everyone told us it wasn't going to happen. Like moving myself into a space that, as an author, like I was told that wasn't possible for someone like me as well. And I've always taken a bit of pride in proving people wrong.
Yeah.
And showing them what I'm capable of. But you've taken that, mate, to the next level. And I want to know what your secret is to proving people wrong.
The secret to proving people wrong, I think, from my point of view, is not caring what people think and actually not listening to what people tell me I should be or do. You know, when people go, no, it's not done like that, I just think, oh, how outdated are you? How like, you can't tell me that. I just don't believe the first answer that people give me is the truth. Like, until I prove them wrong, then I'll be wrong. But like, if I can push on through that, and if anyone tells you can't do something, you shouldn't be something, you shouldn't be here, you don't belong in this world, well, I mean, I would literally stand up and walk away from that energy, and I would go, I am just going to not even talk about it. I'm not going to put it out in the air. I'm just going to work very, very calmly on this and prove them wrong. And if it doesn't work, then they're right. But it doesn't mean that I can't go on to do other things. And, you know, I think with a community and people behind you and everything like that, you can do great things, but don't do them without taking other people with you. You have to believe in yourself. You have to evolve. You have to be that person you are every day and keep changing, keep evolving, keep being who you want to be. No one is born and knows any form of emotion, love, confidence, energy, passion, nothing. You have to find that yourself. And you go through all of these things to get there. And when you get there, it's bloody brilliant. Like, it ain't even getting there. It's really hard and you do want to give up. But usually bang on a bit of music, eat a bit of cake and you're sorted. So eat cake and dance about. That's how you prove people wrong.
Eat cake, dance about, and never stop believing in yourself.
Never.
It's been an absolute pleasure today, mate. Thank you so much for coming on.
I love you too much.
No, honestly, you are one of our most requested and have been for ages. And I always knew we were busy, but thank you for taking the time, lass. Like, you deserve every success that's coming your way, and I can't wait to see what you achieve and who you help in the process.
I think we need to go and hug soon.
I want to have a hug, and I want to have like a cocktail and a sausage roll.
Cocktail, a hug, a bit of cake and a cry. I reckon that's a good day out.
Oh, mate, honestly, you just literally said like my ideal day. So let's get a date in the diary.
Okay, I'm coming.